Today we're going to talk about the disturbing case between Cynthia Perkins and her husband, Dennis Perkins. Now, these were the two that got famous, I guess, for putting his man juice inside of cupcakes that she served to her students at her junior high where she was a teacher. Now, let's peel this all back because that's a lot to take in. This stuff that they did was pretty disturbing, so if you don't like that kind of stuff, I would move on. But what basically happened is this lady was a junior high teacher and her husband was a sheriff's deputy who was a former SWAT officer. Now, what ends up happening is they're into some weird, pervy, rapey kind of stuff, child stuff as well. So they get a tip that an IP address that is hosting and or providing child pornography is linked to this house. Now, they go and investigate it, and they arrest Cynthia and her husband, Dennis, and that's when they raid the house. Inside of the house is where they find all this video evidence of all these disturbing things they've been doing for years. All right, there was over 150 felonies that they got charged with. And inside the evidence that they found was where her and him produced child porn with an 8 and 9-year-old, which is pretty messed up. There was videos of him with a dog, the husband Dennis, and in other evidence, there was where he would produce his man juice into things that he would then feed people, such as she used it in a cake batter that she provided to her students at the junior high school when she made cupcakes for them. Other times where he had put that in juices and or energy drinks that he then shared with people that he was also abusing. Now, all this evidence comes to light. She immediately says, "Oh, I'm very innocent. He manipulated me," and all of that, right? So, as part of the plea deal, she accepts 3 of the felony charges for a plea deal to basically put it all on him, pin it all on Dennis. Not saying that he's not to fault here, right? She obviously went along with everything, but he may actually have manipulated her because there was another lady who was involved in this. She, on the video evidence, there was proof that she had recorded for him back when they were boyfriend and girlfriend. Her name was Melanie Curtin, and she had recorded him raping a unconscious woman back in 2014. Totally separate incidents. And she ended up getting life in prison, but was able to appeal it and is actually out and free, which is kind of crazy considering you recorded somebody and didn't tell anybody about this unconscious woman that your boyfriend raped, and the fact that you were okay filming it is pretty messed up. That being said, going back to the case we're talking about with Cynthia and Dennis. Now, she pleads guilty. She gets 41 years in prison for pleading guilty to those crimes. But as part of it, she basically is a witness to Dennis and pins everything else on Dennis. Now, based on the mounting evidence against him, obviously, and witness testimony and such, and video evidence, he decides he's going to take a plea deal too, so he doesn't get the death penalty. And he takes a plea deal for a handful of other charges, and he ends up getting 100 years in prison without the possibility of parole or anything. So he's in there, basically, it's a life sentence. And I honestly think that might be a little too light of a sentence for him based off the crime that he committed. But you tell me what you think. I'm interested to know your thoughts.